All right, let's talk about love, but not just any love. I'm talking about that feeling that's so huge, so totally overwhelming, that normal words just feel tiny, you know? How do you even put that into words?
You've been there, right? You're trying to explain your crush to your friends, and cute or nice, it just doesn't even scratch the surface. Well, guess what? That problem is way, way older than you think.
Believe it or not, people have been dealing with this for literally centuries. Meet Francesco Petrarch. Back in the 1300s, he fell head over heels for a woman named Laura de Noves, and he basically spent his entire life writing poems about how amazing she was. He was stuck with the exact same problem. How do you capture a feeling that big?
So today, we're going to decode this 700-year-old crush. We are going to dive into one of his most famous poems, Sonnet 90, to see exactly how he did it. And hey, maybe we can steal a few of his moves while we're at it.
Okay, here it is, Sonnet 90. Now, Petrarch knew that to get his feelings for Laura across, just saying she's really pretty was never going to work. He needed a whole poet's toolkit, a set of special literary devices made to express emotions that are just too big for regular language. So let's open up that toolkit and see what's inside. First tool out of the box, hyperbole. Honestly, you can just think of it as the original old-school way of being so extra. It's all about going way, way over the top to really make your point stick. So what is it really? Hyperbole is just intentional exaggeration. You're not trying to lie or anything, you're just cranking the volume all the way up to 11 to show just how intense your feelings are. It's all about making a massive impression. And check out how Petrarch uses it. He doesn't say, oh, she was the prettiest one there. Nope. He says she seemed divine, like literally a goddess just floating above everybody else. And everyone else? Shh, they're just the dreary folk. He's putting her on a totally different level of existence. Now that is some next-level praise. And what's so cool is that even though the words have changed, the idea is exactly the same. Petrarch calling her divine and everyone else dreary is the 1300s version of saying your crush is a 10 and everyone else in the room is a 2. It's a totally timeless way to say this person is special. Okay, so hyperbole covers her looks. But what about the feeling? The actual emotion of it all? For that, he pulls out the next tool in our kit, metaphor. This is how he shows us not just what Laura looks like, but what loving her actually feels like. So, quick refresher, a metaphor is a direct comparison. It doesn't say something is like something else, it says it is that thing. So instead of saying, my love is like a fire, you get something way more intense. My love is a fire. It just hits harder, And here is Petrarch's huge metaphor for love at first sight. He says his heart was basically filled with love's tinder, like a pile of super dry kindling just waiting for a spark. So when he saw Laura, he asks, is it any surprise that the flame burned furiously? I know. When you and I hear the word Tinder today, our brains go to a very different place. But hold up, Petrarch was not swiping right. He was talking about the original stuff. So here's how the metaphor works. It's super simple. You've got tinder, the old kind, which is just fuel that's incredibly easy to light. And then you have his heart, which he's saying was in the exact same condition, just ready and waiting. So the second he sees Laura, that spark hits the fuel and boom, the flame just explodes. It's such a powerful way to describe that instant connection. All right, so we've got a goddess-level beauty and a heart literally on fire. It's all very intense. But this is where the poem gets really, really interesting because it suddenly takes a hard turn. Petrarch hits us with a big reality check, and he uses his third and final tool to do it. And that tool is the rhetorical question. This is a question you ask not because you want an answer, but because you want to make a point. The person asking it already knows the answer. They just want to make you think about it. This is where things get deep. Petrarch basically imagines someone saying to him, dude, Laura's gotten older. She doesn't look the same as she did back then. And he doesn't argue. He pretty much says, you're right. The bow, meaning her beauty, the thing that first shot him with love's arrow, is unbent now. It's not ready to fire anymore. But the wound I got from that arrow, oh, it's still here. And that leads us to the biggest question in the whole poem. If her looks have faded, does the love fade too? If the thing that caused the feeling in the first place is gone, can the feeling itself even survive? And Petrarch's answer? It's a loud, clear nope. The wound, his love, is still bleeding. He's making a really profound point here. The initial spark might fade, but the effect it had on him, the feeling it created, is permanent. The love has become its own thing, totally separate from her physical appearance.
So, what's the takeaway from this 700-year-old poem about a crush? What did we actually find inside this poet's toolkit?
Well, we saw how he used hyperbole to make Laura seem almost superhuman. We saw him use that powerful metaphor of fire to explain just how intense his feelings were. And then he used a rhetorical question to face a really tough truth and argue that real love can last. And all of that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. Petrarch seemed to think that true love was like a permanent wound. It never really heals. But does love have to last forever to be real? And what's a healthy way to express these huge feelings today? That's definitely something to chew on. Thanks for digging into this with me.